We're now in week 5 of intermediate Python, over halfway through, nearing the end. Welcome back, everyone. Objectives for today, we're going to go over Python dictionaries, and we're gonna go through how to use built-in modules. Part 1, we will most likely continue this next class. So dictionaries. A dictionary is a ordered collection of key value pairs. For example, dictionary 1, as you can see, has all these pairs separated by a colon, as you can see here. A dictionary is defined when you see those curly brackets around them. Remember how tuples use regular parentheses, lists use square brackets, dictionaries use those curly brackets. Each key is assigned to only one value. For example, in dictionary 1 right here, 1, 2, and 3 are the keys. The A, B, and C that follow 1, 2, and 3 are the values. And when the same key is assigned to multiple values, usually the latest value just overwrites the previous one. So you might not want to do that. As you can see here, we have dictionary 1 in Python. If you print it, it prints fine. But then we have dictionary 1 over here, which has the key 3 assigned to both C and D. And when you print it, it will show D as the value to key 3 instead of C. So it just overwrites C. As in tuples and lists, you can also use the length function on a dictionary, and this will just tell you how many key value pairs are in the dictionary. Dictionary 1 from the previous examples will result in 3 because there are 3 pairs. But what goes in dictionary? Dictionary since it's like collection of values, there are a variety of different value types that can go into a dictionary. Those include strings, integers, Boolean values, which are just true or false, lists, tuples, and even other dictionaries. Dictionary function also has a dictionary has its own function. This function allows you to create a dictionary given a list of values. For example, we have here dict first name equals Xinyang, last name equals He, and when the function allows you to create a dictionary based on the given values. When you print dictionary, it will return these values. We can also use this on other data types such as lists. As you can see here, list 1 has a bunch of tuples as its elements. When you turn this into a dictionary, it will return the same exact dictionary we got over here. Note that it is a good idea to use tuples to turn things into a dictionary because you can't really change values in a tuple. Alright, here we have a practice. If you have any questions, please ask. I have list 1 here, right? Your goal is to add the tuple D, 4 at the end of the list. Remember that you can change values in the list. And then you want to turn list 1 into a dictionary. And remember to save this file because you will need it later on. Now sync back to the list methods that we went over in last lesson. It's gonna reload the screen share because it's getting laggy on my end. Alright, so for this problem, you would just use the append method and then to add the tuple to the end of the list, and then just use dictionary function to turn it into a dictionary. Just make sure to assign that to a variable such as dictionary 1 first, and then you can print the dictionary. Good job, everyone. Well, surprise, dictionaries also have methods. I know this is very shocking, but here we have a list of dictionary methods. A lot of them are pretty similar to list methods. They're pretty much identical. For example, we have clear here, which does the same thing to a list. It just clears all of the items and returns an empty dictionary. We also have copy, which creates a shallow copy of a dictionary, which is also a list method. And then here we have dictionary method that's kind of unique. From keys basically takes 2 parameters, sequence and value, and assigns the value to each element of the sequence. Keyword assigns a value to each element in the sequence. For example, we have a tuple here. Sequence equals A, B, and C. When you use dot from keys on a sequence and then assign the string called some value to each element in the sequence, you will get this dictionary. Just make sure to put this keyword right here for dot from keys so that Python knows that you're referring to a dictionary because it is a dictionary method. And since sequence has these three elements, so basically assigns this string some value to each element A, B, and C, which is why it returns this dictionary. We also have the pop method, which coincidentally is also a list method, and it removes the key value pair as specified and accepts the key only. So if you want to remove a value from a dictionary, you want to put the key only. Remember, the key is what goes before the colon. For example, A, B, and C are the keys, and some value is, well, the value. And as in the pop list method, it can also return the popped value if you assign the method to a variable. For example, we have this dictionary right here. And as you can see, I assigned the value to dictionary.pop, remove the key value pair of B and 2. All right. And the value that was popped was 2 because it's assigned to B, which it was popped. This dictionary now becomes this right here. The value pair was removed, but only return the value that was removed, not the key. You input the key that you want to remove and it will give you the value. We have practice number 2. So using the previous dictionary from the previous practice problem, copy of the dictionary, they pop the last key value pair from the dictionary, and then just clear the entirety of the first dictionary. Remember, a lot of them are like exactly identical to the way it will work in the list methods. Remember that. We'll be moving on. We'll go over some built-in modules. As you may know, Python has a large library of built-in modules. Each one have their own built-in functions, and they're very helpful for doing various stuff. Basically, think of it as like an extension to regular Python. And to use modules, you have to use the import keyword. You might have used a turtle module, which lets you draw using Python. If you haven't, it's fine, but we'll just be using this as an example. So if I wanted to use the turtle module, I would have to run import turtle, import followed by the name of the module. But you can also use turtle as t, which allows you to refer to turtle as t instead of turtle from now on. So basically, you can just it's like renaming a module in your code. Basically, normally you have to, if you want to use a turtle function, you have to do a turtle dot something. But now, since you imported turtle as t, you can now do t dot something instead of turtle dot something. This is not necessary. It saves time, but you don't have to do that. Now, turtle is just an example, but what we will be going over today is the random module. Well, as mentioned before, you will to use a random module, you have to use the import keyword. Since random is built-in module, which it's already installed, so you don't have to like download it or anything. We can just use import random, and it's used for all things having to do with probability and chance because it's random, such as generating random integers, choosing a random value from a list, and so on. So next, we have some functions. Of course, to use all of this, you have to run import random before you get to use its functions. And to use those functions associated with the module, just use module name dot function name, and then if it has any parameters, just include that. Notice the similarities between this and the class functions as we went over like a few weeks ago. where we put function classes. First, we have a random integer, min and max. Min, minimum value, max, and the maximum value generates a random integer within its specified range. So if I were to do random integer 1 comma 100, it will give me a random integer between 1 and 100. We also have choice, which chooses a random item from a list, tuple, or string. And here I chose to do a list. List 1 equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we do random dot choice list 1, and it will always give me a random item from list 1. Remember how I mentioned the import something as something? So if I were to do import random as R instead of just import random, so instead of random dot choice, I can now do R dot choice. As I said, it's just a more convenient way to do it. Save some time. Here we have practice number 3. Right, given a list of integers, I will be pasting this list in the chat, and the empty list right here, write a for loop that runs a total of 5 times, each time adding a random number from this list of integers into the empty list, and then find the largest value from the final list. Alright, so this is just going over everything that we went over so far in the previous weeks up to, until now. Alright, good luck. Pasting the same block of code a bunch of times will work. It's just a lot better to use a for loop instead. It will save a lot of time and effort in the long run. In case you didn't see my message, you can feel free to stay behind and finish up the problem. I highly recommend it, but you don't have to. If you're done, have a good week. See you next week.